Hey guys, welcome back to another Warframe video where today we are going to be talking about getting your hands on tons of relics hopefully, and with Wisp Prime waiting in the wings to be released, it is important for you guys to know where you're going to be getting your relics for when she releases, how you can get hold of them, how you can get hold of loads of them to begin with, you know, without even having to do any missions. Well, I say not having to do any missions, but, you know, you can at least save up and prepare for when she releases. So yeah. We're basically going to split this into two. We're going to do a quick look at where you can get hold of relic packs, you know, how you can farm the standing to get those. I do have videos on various bits and bobs surrounding that, but we'll talk about it either way. And then we'll move on to the various locations that you can farm up relics once Wisp has been released. Obviously, if you try and farm up Wisp relics before she's released, you will fail epically, so don't bother trying to do that. But, you know, failing relic packs, you know, if you haven't managed to get many relics with any of the Wisp parts in, then you can always move on and farm them the usual way just by doing missions. So yeah, we'll take a look at a few missions, 3 missions actually, as to where you can farm Lith, Meso, Neo, and Axi relics. So yeah, let's hop into the relic packs segment without further ado. Alright guys, so the first place that you can get your standard relic packs from are going to be your syndicates. Your standard syndicates in-game each have relic packs for sale for 20,000 standing each. And if you haven't seen my syndicate farming guide, go ahead and have a look at that. It'll be in the farming guide playlist, which I will link down in the description below. And yeah, if you watch that, I explain how to get 4 syndicates max ranked, all the way up to, you need at least 120,000 on each really if you want to get 6 packs per syndicate. So with 4 syndicates, obviously that's going to come to an instant 24 relic packs, which is a total of 72 relics, which you can just get instantly as soon as Wisp Prime releases. Let's just take a quick look here. Over here you can see we get ourselves a relic pack, receive 3 random relics or ire. Again, you might get ire, so not necessarily receiving a relic, but you know, you can use that for vaulted relics or unvaulted relics as they would be. So yeah, we got ourselves 72 relics from the 4 syndicates here. So that's the first place you can get them, and you can farm this up using the daily standing cap, which does increase depending on your mastery rank, so definitely worth getting yourself up the ranks for future releases so that you can farm as much syndicate standing per day as possible. This is going to carry on over to all of the other syndicates that we are going to look at. All of the places that require standing, they are based on your mastery rank as to how much you can obtain per day. Now, with syndicates like these, the normal syndicates, you can actually boost your daily income in terms of standing by doing syndicate missions. So if we come over to the navigation panel in the top right-hand corner here, we have our syndicate missions list here, and you can go ahead and complete those. And in doing so, you can also collect up some syndicate medallions, or you know, whatever they're called depending on which syndicate you are rolling with, up to 8 per mission, and they can also bring in a hefty lump of standing as well per day. So yeah, definitely worth taking a look at those. But let's move on to the next syndicates, or you know, standing farm for relic packs that we're going to talk about today. Alright guys, so the next place we're going to come to buy ourselves some relics is Teshin. Now Teshin doesn't require standing, but he does require steel essence, so if you haven't unlocked the steel path, you are going to need to go ahead and do that, and you can do that by completing every node in the Origin System star chart. That will then unlock the steel path star chart, where you can start farming up some steel essence. If you take a look at his steel path honors, scroll down to the bottom, you can see relic packs at 15 steel essence per customer. 25 per customer at 15 steel essence. Now, the 25 per customer is per week. So as soon as Wisp releases, we're only going to be able to get 25 packs of this. So 25 times 15, 375. 375 steel essence saved up will get you the maximum number of relics from Teshin. Now, 25, obviously, times 3, that's another 75 relics that we've got on top of the 72 relics that we had from our syndicates. So we're now running at a total of 147 relics instantly as soon as Wisp Prime has released. So that's the next way you're going to do it. And if you want to farm up steel essence, either through survival or by whatever means necessary, you probably want to have a resource booster activated, as that way, instead of getting 2 steel essence from an acolyte, you are going to be getting 4 steel essence. Now, on top of that, you can also run a Smita Kavat A Smita Kavat can give you a charm buff that can double that even further potentially, so you can get 8, 16, 32, and if you're extremely, extremely lucky, you might even be able to get a 64 drop, but it very rarely happens. But yeah, let's move on to the next place that we can farm up some relic packs now, and then yeah, we'll keep it going. Alright guys, so the next place you're going to want to come to get your relics is going to be Cetus, and if you come to the escape menu here and fast travel to Old Man Sumbat, you can see in his wares he does have a relic pack for sale for 20,000 Ostron standing each. Now Ostron standing, you're either going to have to do some mining, some bounty missions, or some fishing in order to obtain the standing. Now what I like to do, once I have got to max rank, or once you've got to max rank with the Ostron, you can go ahead and buy yourselves some rare bait from the Fisher. So let's just go to Fisher High Look. Browse wares, and you can see down the bottom here we've got Glapid bait, or even Norg bait, Cathol bait, whatever. You can buy that up, take yourselves some luminous dye, and then you can go ahead and start farming out some of these fish very quickly. And once again, I would recommend having yourselves a resource booster active when you do this. Now, each of these fish can be traded for a substantial amount of standing, and you can get as many of these as you want in a day, and then trade for however much standing you need per day. So rather than doing, you know, a few bounty missions every day, you can go ahead, use one day or one night cycle to farm up as much bait, or as much fish, sorry, as you are going to need for the foreseeable future. And then, yeah, from there on, you're sorted, basically. You can just trade every single day, spend like a minute, less than 10 seconds even, just trading the fish that you need to get yourselves the standing, your daily standing cap, basically. So that's what I would advise doing if you have reached max rank on the Ostron. If you haven't reached max rank on the Ostron, I would recommend doing bounties, simply because you are going to obtain materials and other bits and bobs that you're going to need throughout the game whilst doing those bounty missions, as well as gaining standing. So that's important to note. But yeah, this is the next spot you can obtain your relic packs from Old Man Sumbat on Cetus. So that is another 6 packs you can get at maximum from this place. And that is going to cost you 120k standing, and you'll be able to get 18 relics total. So our running total now stands at 165 relics. Let's move on to the next spot. Alright guys, so the next spot you can buy your relic packs from is going to be in Fortuna, as you could probably guess. You are going to fast travel over to Smokefinger, and if we browse his wares, again, another relic pack here for 20,000. So that's another 6 relic packs we're going to be able to get instantly. So another 18 relics on top of our 165 total. So we are now up to 183 total relics. And in order to farm Fortuna Standing, or Solaris United, I believe it is, if we go over to Unico, we can see that her bounties here, they have, you know, relatively high syndicate income, but you can do the same thing if you want to farm standing as we did on Cetus, where if you go to the business, provide servo fish, you can go ahead and trade some of the rarer fish for higher levels of standing and just save those up in one day, and then, you know, trade them on as you would usually. Alternatively, if you have access to the Profit Taker, and if you want to come into the back room over here, you can go ahead and do the Profit Taker bounties. As if we take a look, Profit Taker, each of these provides 1,000 standing, and although that's not very much, they can be done exceptionally quickly if you have a good build. Like, I'm talking 2 to 3 minutes per run, and you'll also get yourself a ton of credits doing so in the process. So it's a nice hybrid farm for doing this. But yeah, let's go on to the final place that we can get ourselves some relic packs. Alright guys, so we are over here at the Necrolisk on Deimos, and we are talking to Otak now. You can fast travel to him if you want. You can then browse his wares, and you can see here that we have ourselves a relic pack for 20,000 standing. Now, when you're farming standing at the Necrolisk for the family, the Entrati, you can do it very, very easily actually, because unlike other syndicate factions on Fortuna and Cetus, rather than getting just straight standing, you get yourselves tokens. Now, if we take a look at Mother here, you can see that the higher level missions, so, you know, Anomaly Retrieval or even the Steel Path, we get 150 Mother tokens, and we actually get a bit more than that on bonus. So I can do 2 of these bounties per day, or not even per day, but I can do 2 of these bounties and it will give me enough tokens for 1 day's worth of standing. And I can just keep doing it and keep stacking up tokens for as long as I want. And that way, you know, I can just come on, take 10 seconds to trade each day and get my daily standing. It's probably one of the easiest syndicate factions to farm up, to be honest. So yeah, definitely worth doing if you can. So yeah, those are all of the ways that you can get relic packs. So I think what we'll do now, let's take a look at the locations that I like to farm the various levels of relics. So we've got Lith, we've got Neo. I've missed one there. We've got Lith, we've got Meso, we've got Neo, and we've got Axi. So let's take a look at the locations that I would recommend farming those relics in particular, and then we will just quickly round out the video. Alright guys, so for these first 2 relic farming locations, we're going to be using Wukong. Now, Wukong is a very fast and agile frame, and he is just very, very quick at completing missions like capture, like rescue, stuff like that. He is just, you know, very, very good at. Now, you can use something like Volt, you can use Titania, Gauze, whatever you feel comfortable with on these missions, go ahead and use. But just to give you kind of a bit of background to Wukong, his speed and mobility comes from his Cloudwalker ability. This ability's speed isn't affected by ability strength, it isn't affected by sprint speed. There's no mods that will impact on Cloudwalker's speed. The only way you can improve it is by using other frames' abilities. So for example, if you were in a squad with a Volt and Volt used his second ability, that speed bonus would be additive to the bonus that's innate from Cloudwalker, which I believe is about 300%. But what you can also do is you can subsume Molt from Saren onto your Wukong, thereby giving you a speed multiplier bonus, which again is additive. So you'll get the however much percentage, again I think it's 300% movement speed from Cloudwalker, plus whatever your speed multiplier is here. So for us on this build, it's a very, very cheap build, 0 Forma. We're just getting an extra 62% on top of that 300%. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and Forma the hell out of this and put on some Umbral Forma even, I'm sure you could get that strength up much, 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 much higher, and thereby get a greater speed multiplier from your Molt on Saren. So that's something that's worth noting. But this build is generally based around having instant max energy at 603. So basically, we don't even have to, you know, worry about anything. Arcanes are not relevant at all on this build whatsoever. You shouldn't need either of them. I'm only running Nullifier just to make sure that my energy pool doesn't deplete when I am not in my Cloudwalker form. And Energize is on there because I can. And that's basically it. But you can run something else on here if you want. So let's take a look at the first location where we are going to farm Lith Relics. Alright guys, so for farming Lith Relics, I like to use Hepit on Void. It's a capture mission, it's a very, very fast, and it guarantees us a Lith Relic drop or an Ire. So either way, we're getting something that we want from this. So I'm running a shotgun here. I've got the Strun Prime on with its Incarnate form. You can use anything that packs a punch in one shot. It's absolutely fine. You can use a melee weapon if you want. As long as it can one-shot the capture target, you should be just fine. So I'm going to go ahead, use my Saren's Molt, jump into Cloudwalker, and then we're just going to navigate our way all the way to the target, fly over him, apparently, capture him. Remember, you don't have to worry, really, about going into your Operator as Wukong, because you have 3 stages of invincibility, and then we are simply just going to run our way to Extraction. And there we go. So that's one capture mission complete in 39 seconds. Could have been a lot faster, but I overshot the target. And we got ourselves a Lith R3 relic. Now, obviously, if a new Prime Frame has released, you do have a chance to get any of the Lith relics that are in the reward pool rotation at that time. So let's now move on to where we are going to get our Meso and Neo relics from. Alright guys, so for Meso and Neo, we're actually going to be staying in the Void, and we're going to be coming over to the other capture mission, which is Wukong. Now, Wukong has about a 50-50 split, whether or not you get a Meso or a Neo relic. It should take you exactly the same amount of time as Hepit does, but obviously you're not guaranteed a Meso or a Neo. You can get either. So I'd recommend, obviously, farming up both of these at the same time. But yeah, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So we're going to come over to the target, capture him. And then we're going to get straight out. And there we go. So we got ourselves a Meso relic on this one. Once again, 39 seconds. We're being very consistent here, so that's good. So yeah, that's basically Lith, Meso, and Neo covered in those 2 missions. If you want to just keep doing these over and over again, rinse and repeat, you will get yourselves quite a few in whatever time frame you happen to be farming. So let's now take a look at Axi Relics, which unfortunately is going to take us a bit longer. But if you're in a squad, this is going to go very quickly. So yeah, let's take a look at the mission I use for that. Alright guys, so for Axi Relics, my preferred location is Apollo on Lua. It is a disruption mission. Now I know quite a few people do not like disruption missions. Your alternatives would probably be an interception mission on Eris, or even on Sedna you could do something. But for the most part, I quite like doing this. Hydron on Sedna, the defense mission, first 2 waves have a pretty good chance of giving a Neo, and the second 2 waves have a pretty good chance of giving an Axi. But there is also a chance that you might get a NAF mod as well mixed in there. So, you know, doing it this way is generally quite a bit faster. And as I said, if you're in a squad, you can do this very fast indeed. But we're going to go ahead here, see how long it takes us to do 1 round with my Vault speed build. If you guys haven't seen this, I do have a guide to this on my channel for running disruption. So we're just going to go ahead now and do 1 round of this, see what kind of time it is, because for the most part, the time just remains the same throughout. So that's worth noting. But yeah, let's see what we can get done. Alright guys, there's our A16. We've been in this mission 3 minutes 39. By no means my fastest time for this. And the defense points are fairly well spaced out here, which is a bit unfortunate. But, you know, you can usually do that between 2 and 3 minutes on solo for 1 Axi Relic. And you are going to get Axi Relics most of the time there. Oh, got a trade coming in. But let's go ahead, guys, now, and we'll extract. Again, I'll leave links to all of these guide videos down in the description below. I do have a playlist for it. So yeah, you guys can go and check that out. But let's just quickly round out the video, and yeah, I think that'll be it. Alright guys, so hopefully that gives you an idea of where you can get your relics from as soon as Wisp Prime release, or any future Prime releases for that matter. Can be rinsed and repeated every single time there is a Prime frame, and that is usually every 3 months, I believe. They generally do 4 a year, 1 a quarter. So yeah. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. If you have any of your own tips and tricks for farming up relics, or you have your own, you know, nice little spots that you use to get your own relics, then do let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, if you did like the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one, guys. I will see you later.